Hello everybody and welcome back to Legend of Grimrock 2 Single Character Challenge. My name is Highwing and welcome back to my personal hell. So, we've only seen, I'd say, a good half of why I don't like this dungeon. Well, I don't know if you could call it a dungeon. Yeah, I'd call it a dungeon. But yeah, this place is just basically home to every single enemy I hate in this game, and it's also very compact, and it's just a miserable place to be in. I don't know if that counts for everybody else. For me personally, this place is just so harrowing, and a lot of the enemies have mean mechanics that I don't like, which we'll see later on, by the way. There's one enemy that is just such a rude fellow and just made me consider if this run is even feasible, but I now know that it is. But wow, I hate this enemy so much. But that's neither here nor there. For now, here's some black moss. Black moss is pretty rad. In alchemy, you can use it to make bombs or a resurrection potion, which means it only has 50% use for us. Now, I don't know if this contributes to my dislike of Keelbreach Bog, but I didn't, go here in sequence. As I mentioned last video, when I played this game, I actively ignored this place for a good while. This was the last place I went to. So when I went through here the first time, it was for the most part trivialized and easy. But like, wow, going back through how it's quote-unquote intended to be through, it's kind of tough. Over here is a weapon. It's the Venom Edge. If you remember this from Grimrock 1, it's basically the same weapon. It's a dagger that comes with some free poison shots. And I can tell y'all right now, we're gonna see just how useful a dagger with poison missile is. Pro tip, it's not. So I'm just kinda, clearing out the area. Gonna go through here. I don't do Herder's Den just yet because I tell myself I'm gonna punctuate this video and we're gonna end it on a super cool boss fight. And it's gonna be great, but then I don't. The boss fight occurs halfway through. Now this is kind of why I don't like Fury of Blades. If I had Thrust and I did double damage, those things would be dead. With Flurry of Blades, I am just attacking 3 times, which means I have the potential to miss 3 times. And boy, does that suck. By the way, here's the frog. I hate this motherfucker so much. By the sole fact that he could steal your weapon. You know what that means in a single character playthrough? That means with your restricted inventory space, and with this dude chasing you down, you have to restart if he steals your weapon. There is no alternatives. Oh, and by the way, there's no logic behind it. He could just decide to steal your weapon twice. Now you can get it back if you kill him, but remember, we are very limited in how much stuff we could carry. So unless you actively dump everything and just carry 4 weapons through this area, just reload your save if you fight these guys. And another thing that I never noticed about this enemy until fighting it now, is that when they do that jump you saw, the jump that just, places them directly behind you so they could steal your weapons, it's directional audio, but it doesn't correlate to where they land. I don't know if you heard it there just now, but the audio stays where they were. It doesn't adjust to where they land. So if you're like me and tend to echolocate enemies that pull that stunt, you will get thrown for a loop. I don't know if that was intended by the designers, but man, that is some kind of garbage. Anyways, enough about my rant. Let's explore a little bit more. Now, Keelbreach Bog is interesting. This is probably not a word, but this is probably just going to be something I coined for the express purpose of this LP, but this area has a neat sense of verticality to it. Now what I'm trying to say is, this area has a lot of vertical elements to it, and this is something that we don't see in games like this. This area effectively has 3 levels. You have sea level and then 2 floors underneath it. Now what this means is that the puzzles are going to have a bit of a y-axis element to them. Now we've never seen this in Grimrock 1 or up to Grimrock 2 so far, and I just find that really fascinating. Now, granted, in Grimrock 1, you had, you know, jumping down into a pit to press a button to go back up to the first floor, but that doesn't really count. But there's a lot of puzzles in this game where you have to, say, press a button in floor 3 to access something in floor 1 just so you could get to a treasure on floor 2. Just in this area alone, and I just find that really cool. And I'm so glad that this is a thing that they considered in this rendition. It really feels like the developers just kind of evolved their game mentality, because it's hard to put into like a coherent thing. I'd have to, you know, write a fucking 10-page paper on why I think it's a good idea before I could figure it out, but it just feels like such a natural evolution of level design that I'm flabbergasted at how much influence just, you know, going up 10 feet matters. By the way, I'm going to start leveling up alchemy. I want to get to level 5 ASAP because leveling gets really hard later on. But anyways, Kill Beach Bog is an introduction to the verticality of puzzle solutions in this game. And there's going to be a lot more. So you're going to need to have a more open mindset on puzzle solutions, because it's not just going to be a matter of X and Y axis, but also Z axis. By the way, here's a treasure chest. Here's a perfect example of what I mean by verticality. Now, after a quick rest and look at our supplies, a treasure chest is sealed off by a gate, and I'm just sitting here trying to figure out how to manage my inventory. But there's a switch down here, and this is really interesting because when I first played this game, I was stuck in the mindset of all puzzles are just nearby. I just have to walk around, and I never thought they would, you know, hide the solution for a secret in a river of all places, let alone a murky river. It's a shame that I won't be able to use most of the secrets for a while because of my weight capacity. Now, what I'm demonstrating right now is a neat little trick you could do for storage outside of, you know, just throwing everything in the hub. Since there's a lot of open treasure chests just lying around, easy to access, just use treasure chests as storage. Look at this, I now have a bomb storage. This is the point where I realized I could probably use a torch. And I could also just throw away all this crap I don't use. Yeah, one of the big things I'm going to have an issue with in this game is inventory management. Partially due to the lack of manpower, but also due to my bad behaviors. Now, here is a large, open area, easy to maneuver around, a little bit of supplies. This guy. Interesting line. And if you notice it off the corner of your eyes, there's a power stone just out in the middle of nowhere. That's a little suspicious, isn't it? So for those that are familiar, this is most definitely an ambush. And if I fought it legit, it would probably lead to a hard time. That's why I'm not gonna fight any of these guys. Because until you pick up the power stone, the ambush doesn't exist. You don't have to worry about anything. So what I'm thinking here is I'm just gonna steal everything and then just, you know, get out of here. Because what happens here is 5 fishmen will ambush you in this small area. One of them actively tries to block the barrier. I think that's an AI design choice more than anything. But if you're fast enough, you could just, you know, ignore that. Now I gotta explain this really awkward jump cut here. So what happened was I went down the river, and the river, if you go far enough, is also a transition point in between here and the Forgotten River. Now the problem is that if you transition this area, all the enemies respawn, so when I came back from the Forgotten River to the bog again, I was greeted to a bunch of mosquitoes and a frog. I lost all my weapons. I died. And I lost a good 20 minutes of progress, so that was that jump cut. By the way, here's another frog. A lot of the rivers down here are dead ends, and There's not much underwater secrets down here. There is one that I missed that holds a lockpick, which I probably should have picked up. But there's not a lot just due to the murky nature of the bog. Also, here's a weird puzzle. You're supposed to get all the switches into either an up position or a down position. Now, apparently, the end caps of these switches will affect the sides, but the sides won't affect the end caps. So if you know how to do that, then you can solve this puzzle rather easily. I think this takes a little bit longer than I care to admit, honestly. Like, even after doing a practice run, this puzzle still kind of confuses me. But yeah, that's done. Free Power Stone. Hello. We still need to get one more Power Stone, though. And if you remember, there was a fair bit of Herder's Den that we didn't do. Also, here's a neat little system. There's a keyhole here for nothing, and a hub. And any sane person will realize, hey, this is a teleporter to the hub, that cool place I went to a while ago. Where's the key? Now, the key is actually one of the few instances of a completely dislocated solution to a puzzle, because the key is actually in Herder's Den. And I kind of don't realize that for a couple minutes, so please bear with me. I think at this point I kind of realized where the key was, and I just tried to figure out how to get out of here. By the way, nice shoes there. Too bad I already own a pair. I never realized how much redundant equipment was in this game, but it kind of makes sense, since it is expecting you to have a team to work with. And now, here is the boss fight I was hoping to end the video with, but there's going to be a little bit of extra content afterwards. Now, I'm going to let y'all right now, this boss fight's going to go by really fast, like faster than even I expected because I got a fancy new sword. It's feasible with the backbiter and the broadsword, but it's much harder, and you'll see why. Little, you know, little hesitant precursor save. Here we go. So this is the Herder's Den. This is a zone of 5 spawn engines. They each spawn up to 2 mushrooms of random varieties. Now this is a high element of randomness to the point where, depending on what spawns, it can make or break your run. Now it seems like, hey, this is just a spawn thing. If I take care of the monsters, it should be easy, right? Oh no. If there are any missing enemies, off-screen spawners will spawn monsters on that point, to where there will always be at least 10 mushrooms running around. And this is really hard with low-level weapons like the backbiter or the broadsword, because you just can't output the damage enough to kill these spawn points fast enough without having these monsters just converge on you and block your path. This is very much a battle of attrition. You have to know the map to survive, because if you get cornered once, you're fucking done. Boss is done. And now, the arduous task of killing 10 mushrooms. Done. This harkens back to what I mentioned before about how Grimrock 2 seems to be more about handling mobs rather than the individual fight. And it's strange. Like, I usually don't like mob tactics, but I feel like the mob mentality in this game is fair? It's not fun by any means. Like, I remember this being one of the fights during my practice run of thinking, is this even possible? And it's possible, it's just not pleasant. Now there's also an interesting thing to take note here. While I'm doing this inventory management, I'll tell you, there is a way to do this, like just on the fly with the backbiter, because there's an item you could pick up here that will make crowd management a lot easier. But for now, let's just, you know, get our ill-gotten gains. There are bullets there that I'm not going to use. Whoops. There's a bag here. Now this bag has the hub key, which is what we need, and it has 3 bombs. Now, while 3 bombs doesn't sound like a whole lot, it'll probably just kill 1 dude. During a challenge run such as this, killing 1 dude can be enough for you to get your momentum back. Because, like, the main issue with this fight is getting stuck in a corner and getting beat down to a slow and miserable death. But those fire bombs, man, they are strong. So if you just take the time to just spike down someone with all that damage, you can probably get out super quick. Also, to the surprise of absolutely no one, there's a lot of mushrooms here for alchemy. Like, I think there's a good 8 blood drop caps here, which is pretty good. Go around these pillars, find another blood drop cap. Like, it seems like I'm stockpiling now and I'm not getting any use out of them, mainly because it's really easy to just do combat alchemy and get a potion when you need it. So I never really feel the need to just, you know, prepare potions ahead of time. And I think that's partially due to the fact that I have so much foreknowledge of the game that I just react rather than prepare. And so if it seems like I just never use my alchemy ingredients, it's just because I never see the need to, because I know what's coming up ahead. And in a way that kind of ruins the charm of things. I apologize for that. Because, like, one of the big things about Grimrock is the blind playthrough is probably the most fun you'll have with it. Because there's always that surprise lying around the corner and you never know what's up, so you prepare just ahead of time. You get that weapon you need ready to go, you pre-charge a spell, you get some potions going. It's just so fun. But for me, it just seems like I'm stockpiling items for no reason, which kinda doesn't seem all that fun, really. But, aside from all that rambling, 4 power stones, you know what that means. Behold the grass orb? I was honest, when I first played this game, I was honestly just expecting a bigger rock. And I'm also kind of disappointed that it wasn't, because I just kind of wanted to see a bigger stone and then just stare like, really? But yeah, we've covered most of Killbreach Bog. We don't need to finish up, we don't need to do anything else here. But as I mentioned before, I don't have a lot of experience with this area, so the rest of this video is basically me thinking, are there secrets that I missed? Like this thing. Now I know about this thing. This is a... If you remember the dragon intersection from Grimrock 1, this is basically a wider spanning version of that, so we just need to find the left eye to solve the puzzle. But there are some puzzles here that I've never, you know, fully explored, and a lot of this video is gonna be blind curiosity. So right now I'm trying to unlock the hub because I kind of want to dump all these bombs on the hub. Hub is really nice, especially around here since it dumps you in such a benign spot next to no mosquitoes. Oh, yeah, I'm starting to regret not killing the fishmen, because I didn't realize that these things are intelligent enough to go through the portal. But luckily, this moon sword is awesome. So I'm sitting here like, I don't got the time to deal with this. I don't even care if I'm over encumbered. Are you trying to block my path? Screw you. Go that way. Move, you jerk. And just kind of walk out of here with my bombs. I don't even need to fight you jerks. You're not worth my time. I got an LP to do. Get out of here. It's got this really weird mental image now of scabs running, just carrying 9 bombs clumsily, running away from fishmen. Now, yeah, I kind of edited it out, but I'm basically demonstrating here, hey, check this out. This place is just basically a storage bin. Now, I don't know if there was enough time to see it on the map, but I did see, like, a bridge that I never quite, you know, explored before. So I think we're gonna go there right now. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I believe a bunch of frogs were supposed to be here, but they kind of wandered out earlier in the video, and I killed them mercilessly. Because I hate frogs. It's just it. I've been playing a lot of Don't Starve as well, and in that game, frogs are jerks too, so I just had this really mean bias towards frogs. If you're a frog and watching this video, I apologize, but you guys are jerks in this game. Also, you're a pretty smart frog, wow. By the way, those vines were just a shortcut. We probably could have just cut those down and progressed normally, but I just haven't been here all that much. Now, it's hard to tell because this environment and all the particle effects kind of block it, but there's a couple branches out in the far and beyond there, holding a secret that I need to throw a rock to. I remember doing the secret at the end of my first playthrough and not thinking much of it. Yeah, right there. There's a pillar there with something on it, and I want to get it. But in order to do so, there's a bunch of branches blocking my way, and I need either missile weapons or projectiles, like, you know, throwing weapons to get rid of it. And I'm sitting here thinking, wait a minute. There might be an elegant way to deal with this. Because there's a knife here that shoots poison projectiles, and that should completely destroy those branches, right? This is a great idea of mine. I am so smart. That's why I'm LPing this game. I'm the best. Oh, by the way, look at this jobber right here. Just instantly runs away. Poor thing. What was that? 3? That was 120 damage from the thing and 60 from the slash. It's like 180 damage. But yeah, check this shit out. You know that knife I was talking about? The projectile doesn't break branches. So at this point I'm like, oh crap, do I have to throw like 50 rocks? But then I had an epiphany. We just got a bunch of fire bombs. So let's just burn this branch. That right there is kind of an interesting thing. That right there is something the developers didn't intend to be solved in such a manner. Because clearly it's supposed to be you use arrows or shurikens to break that, and then you get this item. It's a cool little item. It provides 30 energy at the cost of evasion. You know what that means for me? That means I'll die faster if I use that, so I'm gonna get rid of it. But as I was saying, I am plenty sure the developers didn't intend for that to happen, because that is meant to be broken with, like, traditional projectile weaponry, and I didn't have the traditional means to do so. However, because of the alchemy system, and the fact that I just found 3 bombs lying around, I just solved that secret with no problem. I'm fairly sure you could do 100% of the... Actually, no, there is one puzzle that is really... There's one fight for a secret that's really hard, and I've yet to solve it. We'll see that way later in the LP, but I feel like that's the one encounter I can't brain. But to end this puzzle, we got a treasure map from that mimic. And for the longest time, I thought it was here because the treasure map shows a bridge with 3 tiles, and we just crossed the bridge. It didn't have 3 tiles, but I wasn't thinking at the time. So I'm sitting here looking at the map like, where the hell is this bridge? I don't get it. I can tell you right now, I edited out probably 30 seconds from now, but the treasure's not here. It's actually a really clever thing. I think about this time I realized, wait a minute, that bridge is not 3 tiles wide. That's not right. But this is really clever, because there's not really much places with a bridge 3 tiles wide, but I also noticed this ledge and this sign. So they tell me it's underneath here, so naturally. Now here's the funny thing. To the right of us on that ledge was a lockpick that we picked up. And I think that's kind of mean. Because I'd imagine players would typically see this chest, dig it up, and they realize, oh, I don't have any lockpicks. Then they go down and then they see the lockpick and they're like, ah, crap. Now here's where we're supposed to go. There is one 3-tile bridge at the bottom of this map, but if you look to the left, there's a broken 3-tile bridge. And I thought that was really clever. But that got us cheese, shurikens, and some shoes. And a storage point. Now, I'm going to try to explain this really quickly, but basically cheese is something I'm going to eat progressively through the LP. I've recorded a little bit ahead, thinking that the that that rats gain stats from cheese, and I never knew why until now, but apparently each race has a favorite food. Rats are cheese, and every 3 to 4 times you eat cheese, you get a random stat gain, and we're not going to see that for a good while. Sorry for that high-speed dialogue, but yeah, that's the thing. Next time on Legend of Grimrock, shit, I don't know. Oh yeah, we're going to go on to... Shit, whatever. We're going on to this area. And I have plans, don't worry, I just haven't recorded. See y'all next time.